Hello, today we're very excited to show you some pre-release footage of our upcoming strategy shooter, Void Bastards. We call it a strategy shooter because it's a game that requires you to make strategic choices about what you want to do and how you do it, as well as, of course, just shoot things. You play as a prisoner searching for parts to repair your ship and escape the Sargasso Nebula. Right now we've navigated through this nebula to a CNT tax boat, where we're looking for a mouse ball, don't ask why. Once we're done showing you what it's like to board this ship, we'll take a look at the strategy layer, where you fly your escape pod Steve through the nebula. But for now, let's just jump into this mission and have a look for that mouse ball. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is pull up the map and figure out where that mouse ball is, but also I can see there's a lot of fire and smoke on this ship, and that's because I have a special trait that lets me see these hazards on the map. That's going to make life difficult. But the mouse ball, let's head to the helm and see if we can use the ship's computer to get some more data instead of just wandering around aimlessly. Okay, so here's some of that fire, and there's no way around this, so I'm just going to have to run through it. Take my chances. And on the other side, there are some patients. I can clean these guys up with my riveter. It's a rapid fire weapon, very good for these kind of small, fast moving enemies. And while we're here, we'll take a look in that cabinet. We found some merits. CNT ships are a great source of merits. They'll be useful. Let's push on. There's a gun point. Luckily that smoke is going to give us some cover, so it turned out to be helpful as well as a hindrance on this ship. We're going to make our way past the security module. There's some useful stuff in there, but we don't need to worry about that right now. Let's push on into the helm. Pick up some junk that we find lying around. Junk is always useful. Can be recycled into raw materials for crafting things. Someone left their sandwich in the desk, and here's the map terminal. So now we've grabbed a lot more information, and we can see that the mouse ball is in the filing module. It's on the other side from where we are in the helm, and we're going to have to head through a few corridors to get there. Let's push on. Clean up some more of that junk. And here we can see we're heading towards filing. But okay, there's some guys in the way. The patients are pretty fast. Let's back off. We're being bombarded by all kinds of stuff here, so let's pull up our bouncer. Gives us a bit of protection. It's not going to take out this screw though, so I'm going to lock that door and think about another way to go. Okay, the power just went out, and that's let the screw out. Now, I knew there was a chance of that happening because I can see this ship has a generator fault. So I'm going to have to head to the generator and get the power back online before I can do anything else. And luckily, when the power goes out, the security goes down. So you can just walk around that gunpoint. But these guys are still very active. And I don't want to fight them. The screw is very tough. I'm just going to back off. My goal right now is to get the power back online, and everything else is secondary. Now, this is probably where the mouse ball is, but I can't open that container with the power off. Here's the generator. So all we need to do is clean up these patients and head down here and restore the power. But that was the sound of a watcher coming back online when the power came back, and it summoned the SecBot, which is here already, and that is a very tough opponent. Now I need to think about this whole plan. I know where the mouse ball is, but there's a SecBot after me, there's a screw in the filing module, and I'm going to have to run through fire to even get in there. You set your own objectives in Void Bastards, and right now my objective is to get out of here alive. So I'm going to head back to my escape pod, Steve, and head on through the nebula and look for somewhere a little bit less hostile. Okay, so here we are back on the Steve, our little escape pod, floating around in the Sargasso Nebula. And now we need to have a think about what to do next. There's, up ahead of us here is a Lux cruise ship, which has a metal tray on it, which could be useful. Some pretty tough enemies though. Down here is a Zon hospital ship, and that's going to have some healing on it, which will be very useful for us, as well as a colon irrigator. Well, that might be useful, but I can also see there's another generator fault on that ship and a nebula twister, not to mention some spooks and other tough enemies, so maybe give that a miss. This Autori pet carrier doesn't seem to have anything very useful on it, and the lights are out, which is going to make fighting on it quite a mystery, so I don't really like the sound of that either. And then up here we've got a pirate orbiting around, so we have to watch out for them. A garbage collector down here is interesting, but I think I see an EMP bomb up here, and that's really going to help us with our pirate problem and might allow us to get access to this Krell service dock, which has a crowbar on it, and that crowbar is going to be very useful for building stuff. And it also has a warp key cache, which is another thing that we really could make use of, so let's head that way. So I see some more pirates moving in, but I'm not too worried, because this EMP bomb is going to take care of all of them and let us access the service dock. So let's jet over there. Now we can see there's more screws and janitors and scribes on it, but eventually we are going to be heading down towards this other part deeper in the nebula, but we really do want to stop in and pick up some resources along the way, and in particular fuel, which we can find on Krell ships. So we have to pick some weapons. We're very low on rivets after our last expedition, so let's take the toaster instead. It's a powerful weapon. The cluster flak, which is great for dealing with groups, and the rifter, which will have some creative uses we'll show you on this ship. Okay, so here we are on the Krell service dock, Smoky Valley, and let's lock this door and pull up the map before we go rushing in. So we're here to find the crowbar, and I think there's a good chance that might be in the dock or in the hold. I don't know for sure, but I like the chances of the dock. It's pretty close to where we are, and if we head there we can detour via the tanks and pick up some fuel on the way. Always handy. So let's watch out. There's obviously some people hanging around here. There's a gunpoint and a janitor. He wasn't a problem, but the gunpoint's a bit tougher, so let's give the rifter a try. We'll see how useful it can be. So we rifted it out, and now we can put it down somewhere, but we have some scribes to deal with as well. Cluster flak will take care of them, and I have an idea here. Let's dump this gunpoint back down there where the cluster flak's going off, and maybe we can take out all of these guys and of course duck out of the way ourselves so we don't get cluster flaked. And yeah, they're all gone. But damn, some citizens heard that disturbance, so we've got some more problems to deal with. Another cluster flak will help with that, and this time we'll make sure we duck in here and lock the door to stop ourselves getting hit by those explosions. When that cluster flak's done, I'm pretty sure all those guys will be gone. So let's have a look around. Here we are in the tanks, and oh great, this is where the toaster really pays off. It can shoot through glass. I do like the look of that radiation. There's one, got a finger trapped in there. No fuel yet. That's what we're in here in the tanks looking for. There's one can. That's a good start. We'd like to get a little more fuel because it's an invaluable resource for our travels through the nebula. And even though it's not our primary goal, on the service dock. What's this? Someone's still stomping around out there. Let's take a look. Make sure I want to know what's going on. Okay, that screw. I think we'll leave him to his business. No need to get into a fight with him at this stage. Let's ignore him and keep looking for a little bit more fuel. Now, we do have a limited supply of oxygen, so we can't spend too long in here, but it's definitely worth just having a quick look around. There's a bit of useful junk in here that we can recycle later, as well as that fuel. And one more container here. There's a second fuel, so I think it's time to get on with the search for the crowbar and push on. Oh yeah, there is that screw. We are going to have to figure out some way of getting past him, and I think that way might be running away. Now you can see I'm making noise when I run, so I'm pretty sure he's going to be following me. He's pretty slow though, so let's lock this door. And then if we double back to the other entrance to the tanks and lock that too, I think we've got him contained now, because you can see the tanks are a pretty isolated module, and we can just leave him there. No need to take him out. Let him wander around in the tanks as long as he wants. Up here is the fix module where things are repaired on the ship, and there's some useful machines in there, but I think I'm going to ignore them for the moment. I've got to push on with my main objective, which is in here, hopefully, in the dock. Now, we've got a little bit of opposition in here, but with the toaster I can deal with that. What I don't know how to deal with is this giant pool of radiation, and there's no other way around, so I think I'll just run through it. Picked up a bit of radiation there, but it's not too bad, and it will only damage me over time. So I'm going to keep looking. Oh, good. I found the warp key. I wasn't sure where that would be, but that's a very handy thing to have. I've got to watch out for that rift there, which is going to spawn more enemies if I'm not careful. And wait a minute, it sounded like, yeah, a scribe came out of it. Lucky I had my eye on that. And okay, someone else coming down this corridor. It's another screw. Okay, lock the door. We did not find the toaster in the dock, and I'm pretty sure everything's been looted out of there, so we're going to have to head to the hold. But that screw is in the corridor leading to it, so I need to go another way. If I go down here to the hab, there's actually a terminal there that I can use to flush this radiation off, and I've picked up so much now that I really do need to do something about it. So you can see in Void Bastards, it's important to have a plan, but it's also important to revise that plan when you find out what's really going on any of these ships. And here is the hab module. Okay, some guys down there, but I'm going to ignore them and get up to the WC and flush that radiation off. Now I can think about these guys up here, deal with this scribe, and oh, okay, there was a watcher there and it spotted me, so I'm going to quickly rift that screw out behind that locked door and get ready for the sec bot that I know is coming. And there it is. Okay, I'm going to rift that as well and dump it out onto that handy electrical cable. That will stun it for a little while at least, and luckily the security module is right here, and this is where the security is controlled, so I can shut it down for 45 seconds. That's long enough for me to figure out a better plan and deal with that bot permanently. And part of that plan is the toaster. The other part might be a nice cup of tea, and that tea is going to give me triple damage. So with that triple damage, I can make short work of the robot and this pesky watcher, and maybe even a couple more enemies if I'm quick enough. But no, the caffeine's worn off. I should have tried the builder's tea. Another screw. I would have liked to have the triple damage, but instead I'll just lock him in that room and not get distracted. I need to push on to the hole. which is down here. Okay, more security elements. This time I'm not going to get caught by that watcher. And I have a plan for that gunpoint, which is to rift it down here and then quickly subvert it. And now the gunpoint will help me take care of enemies and watch my back while I search through the hold, which is going to be useful because this is a big module and it might take me a little while to search all the way through here. Yeah, there's a lot of loot here. Hopefully the crowbar somewhere, but my gunpoint is in trouble. It needs my help. That screw is too tough, even for the both of us. So, again, I'm just going to lock some doors, buy myself some time, and look for the crowbar. And there it is. Okay, I really should think about getting out now. I could maybe run around the hold a little bit, pick up some more junk, and then head out through the fix module. You can see I'm pretty close to the airlock once I get through there. And there's a little bit more stuff to pick up in here, but it looks like the screws found another way in, so I'm going to try and take care of him with these cluster flaks, but he's mobile, and very tough, so I don't know if that's going to be enough. I need to make sure I don't get caught in the crossfire. Even a toaster shot to the head isn't going to take him out. But over here, these exposed electrical cables might buy me some time. I'm just going to jump over there and head out through fix. And there's another gunpoint. That's easily taken care of with a cluster flak. Let's see what's happening behind us. Yep. That screw trod on the cable, so he's immobilized. We'll take him out. We'll lock him in there for good measure. And pretty sure fix will be cleaned up. Now we come back in here. But we are running very low on oxygen, and we're right next to Atmo, so I'm going to head in here and grab myself some more oxygen before I choke to death.
Excuse me.
Luckily the oxygen station is right here.
No unscheduled appointments.
And let's not go that way. Look, it's really time to be thinking about getting out of here. I put it off for too long. I don't want to die with the crowbar because even though another prisoner will step forward to take my place and they'll inherit all of the things that I've built, they won't get the crowbar if I die while I'm still on board, so I really do need to make sure that I get off this service dock. It's important to not to push your luck too far and sometimes decide enough is enough and just get out. We hope you enjoyed this brief foray into the world of Void Bastards. For more information, please check out voidbastards.com, and the game will be released in early 2019 on Xbox and PC. Thanks very much for watching.
Action items ticked.